Mm-mm-mm-mm. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to All Things Football, where today we'll be reacting to primarily Manchester United's 3-1 win over Newcastle, but also the battle for top four. I think Man City might have come away with the title after a very convincing win against Arsenal. I mean, over recent weeks, I've said that we're still in the title race and we're putting the pressure back on our noisy neighbours with a 3-1 win today. But do you really think we can catch them?
No, as I said like a few weeks ago, just hand them the title. It's already theirs. They've already earned it. 10 points clear. When you're 10 points clear, you might as well start planning the party. But obviously, we can still just put pressure on them. But the way City are playing, like they just get the 1-0 win and they'll just move. They move on to the next game.
I mean, you say just get the 1-0 win. Obviously, they took the lead after I think it was 75 seconds, which is just. It was a Raheem Sterling header in between their two centre backs, which is embarrassing in itself. But Arsenal, they created a few chances. And at some points, when I saw Saka running through with Aubameyang with his support runner, I thought maybe Man City might be breached here. And Arsenal aren't the greatest side this season, obviously, but it did show that they can be got at. And then when a better team with better quality up top is that team attacking them, they will concede goals. There's 13 games left in the league. As you said, they're 10 points clear, 39 more up for grabs. So it's looking close, but if teams look at what Arsenal did today in the terms of the way they had to counter-attack and I mean, it was only 1-0. Obviously, Man City had a good game, but Arsenal defended quite well.
I
I feel
think
like teams will be able to nick a couple of points
with
here or there.
City, they just obviously they got the early goal, and then they knew Arsenal can't attack because City's defense. Obviously, they had the best defense in the league. And the way City played, the way they're just passing the ball, I mean, they could have had more goals if they were clinical or
Yeah.
whatever, but they didn't mind. They could just pass it around, just keep the ball, and then just get the result. And the fact that it was so easy for them just to do that shows that when it comes to harder games, that then it's not a problem.
You do have a fair point. I'm trying to be optimistic in it
Yeah,
because I
no,
want to win the league, but
yeah.
they had a very, very
We
good
can just go with that. The Premier League, you never know what happens. That's what we can say.
exactly.
But yeah, let's move on to United. We beat Newcastle 3-1,
Oof.
and
It wasn't a vintage performance. That's
nah,
what I'll say.
it was not a 3-1 game. Definitely not. But yeah, let's start off with the lineups. And the lineups came out. What did you think?
Um, it's a bit tricky because obviously we're 4-0 up from in the Europa League against Real Sociedad with the 4-0 away goal cushion. So in the back of my mind, I did expect a full strength team today. So I didn't think James would start, but I guess he does have to be awarded because he is in good form, which
Yeah.
is understandable. Obviously, we had Lindelof and Maguire starting a centre back, which was expected. Full backs expected as well. So that is a normal back four and goalkeeper. Not sure where Matic came from. To be perfectly honest with you, although it is a bit understandable. Van der Beek's out with a muscular injury. I think McTominay was out as well. I kind of wanted him to switch up a little bit in terms of the formation. I would have liked to see Fred in a single pivot by himself against Newcastle because no matter what anyone thinks about Newcastle, the size of their club, they're having a terrible season. They're 3 points above the relegation zone, I think, and they've already lost. They had already lost 13 games in league before they played us. So I would have liked to see just something a little bit different because just switch up a little bit because it would have allowed for experimentation against a team that we knew we would have beat. And I know we say that a lot and we have experienced losses and drop points against Sheffield United and West Brom, but these are the matches where you try something new. Dan James obviously did get a goal and I'm happy for him. But at the same time, I just don't like him that much. Would have much preferred Greenwood on the right. But what do you think of the starting lineup?
Yeah. When I was disappointed not to see Bailly, but then again, it's Oli. What did we expect? It's the Premier League. He's not going to play Bailly. And then obviously defense, the right back, left back is fine. And then yeah, Fred and Matic. I didn't know that McTominay was out, so I was surprised about that. And then obviously Matic. If McTominay's out, then Matic had to play.
I think McTominay came off against Sociedad with, I can't remember what injury he had, but he went down, came off for a little bit, went back on, then came off, I think. So I'm if now would be perfect for Van der Beek to be fit. But obviously he's not, so he couldn't have played.
And then obviously Bruno turned, Rashford left. James Wright, as you said, I was surprised that he played on the right. But obviously he has been performing. He played well in the Europa League.
Yeah.
And then Martial up front. I think that was the surprise. Martial up front. I think Greenwood maybe should have started up front.
Yeah.
He has been playing better recently, and Martial did eventually come off for Greenwood.
Martial.
And yeah, Martial, it's not looking good.
He's on forward watch. As I said, realistically, jokes aside, if we were to sell Martial, what do you think his valuation would be? Because I'm torn between 35 million or like 60. Because you're still paying for potential because of his age.
40 million, I think, would get 40 to 50 maybe.
You're looking
he's gonna pay that much for him though.
That's what I mean. You never know. You never know because you're paying for a 25 or 24. It's 25 or 24-year-old, still with a lot of potential. Let's be real. He's French, so I feel like certain countries just go for a lot more, and he plays for us. Is Martial? We have to, and no matter how bad we think he is, and the fan base thinks he is, it's still Martial, and he's still a top talent. If we were to sell him, I genuinely think we could get around 60 mil for him. And I'm hating to say it because he's one of my favourite players, not just at Manchester United, but just in general. But I feel like we need to get rid of him because he's going off. Like he didn't have a very good performance today, but then again, neither did the whole team. But I'm getting a bit sick and tired of him, man.
Yeah, following from the last episode, it was saying how potentially could get Haaland, and I'm seeing it more and more how we need someone like that. We need someone like Haaland.
I can see you smiling. You're getting excited, man.
We need because we can't just have Martial up front. Because when Cavani's not there, Cavani wasn't even on the bench. He's out with his injury issues.
He got a muscular injury as well.
So if Martial's our only option up front, then we need to sign a centre forward, someone who can actually score goals and is an actual striker.
I'm going to be so real with you. I don't like to talk about Haaland speculation because he's one of a handful of generational talents, which we're not going there. Even if we try to go there, we're not getting him. If Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City, Liverpool, but any big team comes in for Haaland, which they will, we are out because of our negotiation tactics and our negotiation level we're just not up there on par with some of the mid-table teams in even this league. So we're not getting Haaland. We would have had him already if we were going to get him. In terms of a centre forward or a striker, if I had the choice right now, I would want to sign someone like Mauro Icardi because he's a proven European striker. He's an incredible finisher, although he's at PSG. I would have wanted him before he went there. Cavani's obviously got, maybe 18 months left at United because it's reported that he wants to go back and play for Boca, not go back. He wants to go and play for Boca Juniors, which I can see happening as a massive South American team. He's obviously South American. But I just think we need to get rid of Martial. And I never wanted to hear myself say that, but I feel like
it's a sad end.
Because think about it, we're obviously challenging for the league. We're the second best team in England this season. But to get to that next step, to have players like Bruno Fernandes in multiple positions, we have Bruno Fernandes, Pogba. I'm going to put Luke Shaw in that category now because of his performances this season. And we have Marcus Rashford. We need more of those players, the players that will grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Martial doesn't do that. Someone like Icardi would do that. A younger Cavani would do that. Haaland would obviously do that. Sancho would do that. And if we get Sancho, we're definitely not getting Haaland. So it's just... there's a lot of things that need to be done if we really want to challenge.
Yeah, let's just think about what's happening now and not get too excited about.
I'm getting dragged off, man.
Yeah. But we'll start off with the defence. Harry Maguire and Lindelof.
Can we just have an episode where we just don't slate Harry Maguire? I
Yeah.
want that for him, but he does it to himself. He does it.
Hopefully he'll be rested in the next game against Sociedad, but
Put money on that is the fact that he starts. It's a perfect time for him to be rested.
but yeah, how did Newcastle score? St. Maximan actually, yeah.
It was a half volley, kind of
Yeah.
scuffed into the ground. Bit of a. I don't want to say lucky finish because we've
No,
seen
he had
Ozil
been
boosting.
coming, like he had been threatening on that left wing.
Yeah,
And,
he's a very tricky
yeah,
player.
He was so tricky. There was one moment when he sent James, he dropped his shoulder, James just went. James went. Yeah.
But luckily we had Wan-Bissaka there.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka.
He can't get past Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
But we just have to talk about Maguire's header that effectively Maguire got an assist if that was the thing. Terrible header, absolutely terrible header. I was watching the game and I was talking to one of my friends at the same time, and we both said exactly the same thing. A big head for nothing.
Yeah.
We brought him in for one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
Win headers in the attacking box.
Nothing. He doesn't do anything in the attacking box.
That's his game. That's his main game, to clear the ball and to at least get the ball on target. I mean, along with his ability in the air has to come common sense. You're backing off a little bit. You're not on balance. You're not on balance properly. If you're going to try and head the ball clear and you're leaning back like this, knowing that you're not going to get good contact on the ball, try put it out for a corner. Don't just knock it straight back. He didn't even get clear out the box. Didn't even clear the box. It was a terrible header. I don't care what excuse he might have for himself or what pundits out there want to excuse Harry Maguire because he's English and the Man United captain. It was a terrible header. And again, he was at fault for a goal.
It's just becoming too often when he's, especially from set pieces. Man United can't defend set pieces, and that starts with the leader of the centre backs. That's Maguire. He's the leader of the centre backs, and if he can't lead his defensive unit, then who else is? And we're just gonna keep conceding from set pieces. And
I'm not sure. I've said, and you said, a lot of Man United fans have said he's not leadership material. He obviously doesn't take charge of that back four, and you can see why someone like De Gea, Cavani, didn't leak it, but someone said Cavani sourced him or something when I think it was, can't remember what game it was, but Fred and Maguire were messing up or something, and then we conceded them. I think De Gea just had a little outburst at them. To be perfectly honest, how long has he been at our club? 8 years now, I think. I've probably seen him do that once or twice, as in loses marbles. But Maguire's finishing De Gea off, man.
Yeah, but let's move on from Maguire because it's every game we're having to speak about an issue regarding Maguire. So let's move on to the midfield. Obviously, Matic and Fred. That can't happen again. Matic and Fred can't play those two type of players. There's no energy, there's no quality. Like Matic, okay, he can pass the ball, but he can't get forward in the same way as McTominay can get forward. Fred doesn't get forward. When he does get forward, he shoots when he should pass. Too often, I'm shouting at the TV saying, "Why are you shooting? Just pass the ball." And then I don't want to say. I keep saying I don't want to say more about Fred because even the commentators have seen it. They're saying how too often he just misplaces passes and simple passes.
You see, I didn't mind Matic today. I think he had a bit of a decent game considering he's kind of been thrown in from the cold. What I didn't like was the fact that we had two left-footers who were extremely one-footed, acting as the playmakers in the team, which it never sits comfortably with me. I feel like there always needs to be a one left or one right, or just players in general that can use 1 foot, 2 feet comfortably. I said earlier, we need to sign a petition to stop Fred shooting because once he gets
Oh
up further in the
gosh.
pitch, it's like he gets a rush of blood to
He
the head.
gets so
It's like,
excited. Like you can
yeah,
actually see it.
yeah.
You can actually see it. Even if he's on his right foot, he doesn't care. He just swings his foot and hopes for the best. I just don't
It's
get.
like
There's no composure.
the closer he gets to the goal, the more erratic he gets. And it's that when he took the shot with his right foot, one, I could see it. I'm how many miles away? Hundreds of miles, probably, I don't know. No idea. But before he even took the shot, you knew he was going to take it, first of all. He's not going to pass it out to James, which was the much more
Yeah.
sensible walk, by the way. It was off balance. He was already kind of falling over a little
He's
bit.
always falling over. He's always falling over.
So he has no composure, like you just said. It's something that isn't teething problems anymore. It's not him getting used to the Premier League. It's him. It's his lack of quality, and I don't want to say confidence, because if you haven't been confident for how many years, then there's a problem that we need to sort out and maybe get you off to another team where you can build your confidence. But it's something that he doesn't seem to acknowledge, or nobody seems to acknowledge, because he plays every game and he does the same stuff every game. Yeah, against what PSG in the Champions League or something, he might have a worldie of a game because he's playing against a European outfit. He's not playing against Tom Davies in the midfield who's just going to close you down. You're not going to get any time, but Matic next to him, I think had a decent game, to be perfectly honest with you. Taking all things into consideration, he was the better of the two.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, he's going to get dropped when McTominay comes back, and then we're going to have McFred again. But when Pogba does come back, I think Fred might get dropped, which is a little bit of a bonus in my eyes.
It just shows how much we've actually missed Pogba. Obviously, fans at the start of the season didn't want Pogba to play or whatever, and then he came and played, proved to us that he wants to be here, he wants to perform for Man U, and now he's injured, and now we're seeing how the midfield has suddenly just declined in quality, and that's also affected Bruno, but at the same time it hasn't affected Bruno. Another
He's
goal,
inevitable.
another assist. What's this guy? He always, I don't know how he does it. Every game.
You see his assist today. He's done that twice now. I'm starting to think I think he means it.
No, he does. Of course he does. He has to get the assist. That's his mentality. He has to help with a goal.
He's not reaching for that ball to control it. He's reaching for that ball to pass it on. The first time he did it, I was like, didn't mean it. When he did it today, I was like, he didn't mean it. And then I thought, he's done that. He's done that before. Took it right through Jamal Lewis's legs, but the guy's inevitable, man. He's like Thanos, because I'm always confident when he's on the pitch that he's going to do something. 40 goals and assists in 39 Premier League games. I don't care who you are, what team you support. If you hate Bruno, if you have an agenda, you have to understand this guy is, I would say, the best January signing that's the Premier League's ever made. He is so fantastic on so many levels, and what he's done for us is, I don't think, can ever be repeated. The Van Persie was nice, Rooney was nice, De Gea was nice when he was making those nasty saves in his opening season, but Bruno Fernandes, he is different. He is different.
What makes it even better is the fact that we didn't even see him do anything on the pitch really during the game, but yeah, he leaves the pitch with a goal and an assist. From not even being seen on the pitch. That's like the difference. It's a difference.
He's got 15 goals in the league this season, behind Salah.
He's second. He's second.
He's a midfielder.
Yeah.
He's got the second most assists as well, behind Harry Kane. And again, he's a midfielder. He's got 25 goals and assists this season as a midfielder. What can't he do? He needs the armband. I don't care. He needs the armband. Yeah. Put him the armband and it's like super serum. He's going to be getting 2 goals and assists every game.
He will. Yeah, giving him the armband will make him a better player. Even better than he is now. And it'll make Maguire a better player. Hopefully.
If Bruno gets the armband, the only way anyone else gets the armband is if Maguire leaves. Unfortunately.
But yeah, Rashford as well. What a goal. When I saw that goal. That is what he needed. That's the type of goal he needed to score. That nutmeg, we saw it coming. And then and then he ripped him again when he got into the box twice, and then the shot. There's too much power for the keeper.
It's never nice to be beaten at your near post, but when a shot like that comes in, I don't think you can have much arguments.
Too fast.
I've said on this channel before, when Rashford gets going at full speed, he runs like Neymar, he dribbles like Neymar, and he does defenders like Neymar. That nutmeg is a Neymar trademark.
Yeah.
I argue with your mum, that nutmeg is Neymar's move. How can you nutmeg someone, blow them out, stop, let them come back to try and defend against
rip them again?
do you know how disrespectful that is?
It's so rude.
Rashford is leveling up every season. He's scored 18 goals this season. He's having a bad season or a poor season for his level, but he's got 18 gols. Can't remember off the top of my head how many assists, but this guy is going to become one of the best talents we've ever produced. And it just makes it even better that he came through the youth academy.
And what I like about his performance today is the fact that he actually took on players. Obviously, that's what he's been doing in recent games, but hasn't really worked. But he took on players, got past players, and also took shots. He actually was comfortable to take shots today. Maybe the managers or coaching staff spoke to him, and yeah, he was taking shots from outside the box, wherever. And obviously he scored. Could have also got an assist potentially, but Martial was offside. But yeah.
Social media is an influence as well. Obviously it's never good when players get unjustified criticism and abuse, but in terms of constructive criticism, he would have definitely seen, why is Rashford doing all of this in the box? Why can't he just shoot? He would have definitely seen that. So I think that would have come into it as well. That might have been playing on his mind a little bit. And I'm just glad that he's getting his confidence back, and it's visible that he's getting his confidence back. And when we see Bruno and Rashford performing like they were at the back end of last season, title challenge, we're going to win the league.
Well, yeah, what Rashford has over Mbappe is that he can do it in the Prem.
Don't do it.
No. We'll leave it at that discussion.
Yeah.
That discussion can't happen. But yeah, I think in terms of Newcastle, they're not in a good spell at the moment. Potentially could get relegated. It's not Newcastle.
Is it full of 3 points behind them?
I'm pretty sure Newcastle was 17th still.
Yeah, Newcastle was 17th, 3 points above.
The 17th, 3 points above Fulham.
Because Fulham are playing all right.
Yeah, Fulham are doing well.
And I think if Newcastle carry on their poor results run, because if I'm being totally honest, they're not playing badly. They're not a bad team. They have good individual players. They have a good manager in Steve Bruce, who's proven himself in the Premier League. But it's just, for some reason, as soon as they get to that final third, it all just falls apart. And obviously they have Callum Wilson, who's decent in the Premier League. So when he's back and scoring, they might be able to say him. But if they carry on like this, they're going to go down.
They need Callum Wilson. One of the stats is that 40% of their goals come through him. And obviously he wasn't there today, so that's minus 40%. And
that's a good stat for him to have on his shoulders. But as a club for Newcastle, that's shocking. That's something it shouldn't really be at any club. Because as you said, if they're not there, then what are they going to do?
But yeah, as for Fulham won yesterday. And from the rest of the top six, obviously we already spoke about Arsenal lost to Man City. Man City is 10 points clear of us. We're still level with Leicester as well. They beat Aston Villa 2-1. Aston Villa were in the race, were like in a shout for top four. And it seems like they've kind of... Yeah, they've gone down.
I can't remember if I said that they were going to get top four, but if I did,
they were going to challenge maybe. I don't know. But
Jack Grealish wasn't playing today either, so when he does come back and they play all their games in hand, I think they will be on... If they win their games in hand, I want to say they'll be on 45. Or am I thinking... I might be thinking about a different team, but they're still there or thereabouts. We can't write them off. They're going to finish in the top 8.
Yeah, and Aston Villa do have 2 games in hand, and literally 4 points off Liverpool, so...
Yeah, one of them is against Everton, though. And
Everton are in form.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough. I do want them to do well, because I just do not have kind of a soft spot for them. Not just because of Grealish, I've just always kind of liked them, but they will need to strengthen, as and when they can. But speaking about Everton,
Anfield. What's Anfield? What is Anfield?
I
Is
don't
it a
know.
playground? Is it a
I
local
can see it
park?
from here. I
Like
can see it from
what
here.
is it?
Looking,
What is
it's
that?
four home losses in a row, and that's the first time that's happened, I think, since 1924. That's 97 years. As said it
Anfield.
on the
Yeah, you
last
said it. You said it.
episode,
You said it.
I'm taking full credit for Everton's win. You lot can thank me. And I also said, I'm not sure if it was on here, Jurgen Klopp's last season at Dortmund was
Yeah,
a
you said it. Yeah.
massive, massive flop. They were in the relegation zone when he left. Obviously, Liverpool aren't that far down, but this seems to be something that he does. He's not losing the dressing room, but something about Liverpool
I
and their
feel like
players.
potentially they've worked so hard to get into the position of winning a title, and perhaps that's the same with Dortmund at the time. And then
Yeah,
when they
because
win it,
they won the title in the
yeah, and
cup.
then when they win it, everything just goes down. They don't maybe have the same intensity.
They definitely don't have the
They
same
didn't
intensity.
recruit well in the summer. And once you win a league, you need to now recruit the best players to maintain the levels. And obviously, that's what City did when they won the league, and Liverpool haven't done it. And
It's
yeah,
it's tough because obviously I'm not a fan of Liverpool. I don't like them. I like it when they lose. It makes me happy. But their players aren't helping the cause. When we're looking at a team that won the Champions League and then in the next season they won the Premier League. Yes, you've won two trophies in 2 years, but the way they went about it and the way they spoke about themselves and
very
players like
arrogant.
Andy Robertson, they
Very,
got
very arrogant.
way too big for their boots, and I think Robertson was a perfect example of that.
It's because
He's
their players like Robertson, Trent were being labelled as the best fullbacks in the world.
They started to believe their own hype,
Mm.
and as a footballer, you're looking at someone like Roy Keane. You're not allowed to believe your own hype. He did it at Manchester United, and then he got shipped out. Like even the best of the best. You ever think Ronaldo believes his own hype and shows it? He might, yeah, I know I'm one of the best ever, but I need to carry on working hard. I need to put more intensity in every single day just to maintain my level, not to get better, just to maintain it. And you can see the body language of the Liverpool players, the way they're playing, the sulking, the just the intensity on the pitch isn't the same as where they were in especially the 18-19 season. They didn't win the league that year, but that title race with Man City, I genuinely think is top two. I only beaten by what we did with when City won the league in 2012. But they've dropped off massively. And we have to talk about Thiago as well because I
Yeah,
don't care what
I
anyone
mean,
says. That guy's a flop so
like
far.
the thing is, on paper, Liverpool's players are good. It's just obviously they're missing two centre backs. Okay, that's it. But their midfield, their attack is still one of the best attacks, one of the best midfields.
Yeah, they're talking about injuries like Salah,
Yeah,
Firmino, or Mane on
I
Salah
don't like
front.
hearing those excuses about they've got two centre backs out. Okay, if we have two centre backs out, we'd still have Bailly and Twanzebe. I
Exactly.
mean,
They've got Wijnaldum, who's a starting centre mid for the past few years. They've got Thiago, who's apparently the best whatever in his position, and they've got Curtis Jones, who's apparently the best youngster. So there's the only one or two players that have missing are Van Dijk, who's obviously very very good and one of the most important players in their team, and Joe Gomez, who I think is overrated anyway. Like the excuses coming out of Anfield are just ridiculous at this point.
even before those injuries, they still lost 7-2 to Aston Villa with their
Exactly.
full strength team. So these excuses, I don't think they're valid at the moment, and it's just you can't be making those excuses as champions. It's just not. It's just not. I don't know what's going on.
Factually the worst title defense in Premier League history, and I'm loving it. I love to see it. Could never be my team, to be it almost was, to be honest, with Moyes, but where I'm going with this. They just need to, for their own sake, they just need to kind of get over themselves, stop feeling sorry for themselves, and just try and channel back to when they were dominating Europe, because they were.
Yeah,
They were untouchable.
They just need to make sure that they qualify for the Europa League. That's should be the target for this season.
I thought you were going to say Champions League.
No, they need to make sure they qualify for the Europa League. At this rate, like Everton at home, and also someone said. So I saw a comment. Someone said even Salah's dives are off target. They're not even in the box.
No. When Salah dives, it's from on the shoulder, his arms go up like that. It's embarrassing at this point.
Anything, they're just trying to get a goal, but it's not working. But yeah, let's move on. Chelsea under Tuchel, 7 games, 5 wins, 2 draws. That's not bad for obviously their new manager. But let's talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was brought on at halftime, and then subbed off. Tuchel says he wasn't working hard defensively. He didn't have the right attitude. What do you think about that?
Personally, from a human point of view, I don't like to see it. But from what Thomas Tuchel, I can't pronounce his name, sorry. From what he said, it makes sense. You have to put in the work for the team, no matter who you are. Hudson-Odoi is a young player who was linked to Bayern Munich for obvious reasons. He's someone who's been hyped up for years. He's starting to, well, I don't know about it anymore, but he was picking up form and he was producing for the team. So maybe he was getting a little bit, comfortable. But Callum Hudson-Odoi has never been a player that tracks back or does any of that. So I don't know. I'm just a bit on the fence with this one, because I remember when it happened to Moise Kean at Old Trafford for Everton. That was completely unjustified, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't claim that I watched all of Callum Hudson's minutes on the pitch, but I don't know. I don't think he deserves to be dropped.
I was watching the game. He came on at half time, and he was making great runs into the box, getting the ball out wide, crossing it in. Obviously, some of his crosses didn't beat the first man. Okay, but then defensively, he was saying obviously he didn't work hard. Defensively, his attitude wasn't good. I just don't get it.
It's tough.
Maybe he's just trying to stamp his authority in the new team, but
maybe an experienced player next time, not someone who's really still trying to break through.
Yeah, that could seriously damage his confidence.
Yeah,
and we'll see whether he plays the next game or what happens next game, because that is tough. But yeah, I think that rounds up this week's Prem.
Almost.
Is it?
I think we need to just talk about a little celebration of our own. Shola Shortire, one of Manchester United's finest.
Yes.
The fast track he's managed to put himself on has been ridiculous. Crazy. He was, he's 17 years old now, 6th youngest player to appear in the Premier League for Manchester United. And it isn't the last game of the season, which makes it even more of a big achievement, because we remember Angel Gomez last game of the season against Palace came on for his debut. This is mid-season. We're fighting, we're challenging. And to be fair, we weren't playing that well. So for him to come on now...
Yeah, I was surprised.
I
was so shocked that he actually came on when it was actually a tight game. It was not like we're playing well.
Yeah, I feel like if anybody hasn't seen him play before, obviously you wouldn't have seen him play that much today, but it really does show the level that Solskjaer and his management team puts him at, because he's playing for the under... Well, he will obviously play for the under-23 again. He's not permanently in the first team now, but he's playing for the under-23s as a 16/17-year-old. He's always been playing at a level at least 3 or 4 years above his own age. And obviously now he's not going to become the next, Messi or whatever. We're not saying that, but we're going to be seeing a lot of him. And I'm very excited, because he's a very, very tidy player.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't actually seen much of him. I only actually found out about him maybe late last year or early this year. So definitely going to have to search him up. And at 17, it's crazy how he's 17. There's probably players in under 23s. You're just playing under 23 football, hoping for the call up. And he's just there under 17-year-old just gets called up straight.
But then it just gives you something to I guess compare yourself against, because it's all easy, sometimes difficult to say, oh yeah, I'm 18 years old playing for the under 18s or the under 23s. Oh, Marcus Rashford is so much better than me. How am I going to get to his level? How can I do this? But when you have your teammate who's playing with you on a Tuesday afternoon, and now he's playing for the first team, it really gives you something to work towards, because you're working with him every day. You can see what he's doing in training. You can see how he's speaking to the managers. You can see how he's putting in the energy, what he does on and off the field. So I feel like it always makes a big difference in the academy as well when a young player comes through, because it gives everybody else a little bit of confidence. To be fair, I feel like I've known about it for a while, mainly because I'm subscribed to MUTV and I don't know how to cancel the subscription, so I'm getting my money's worth to make sure I watch as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now, he's been waiting for his opportunity for a minute. We've got Shola Shortire, we've got Joe Hugill, I think that's how you pronounce his name now, and we've got Charlie McNeil. Those three, well, because they're all fit now. And then we've got Hannibal Mejbri. We have a lot of great talent coming through, and I'm excited.
Yeah, the talent is bright at Man U.
It is. It's I think we have one of the best. I don't want to say one of the best, because Man City have a brilliant academy as well. We have one of the best academies in England, and I feel like the fruits of our club is gonna start to come through. It's really nice, actually.
But yeah, I think that actually I want to say I'm looking forward to actually Thursday. Amad Diallo. You said that he might not start.
Yes,
but
reminds me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually seeing him get more minutes.
It'll be. I don't actually know what the venue will be, because I think if one venue is neutral, then they both have to be neutral. So it won't be at Old Trafford, I don't think. But Solskjaer did say after the match that Shortire and Diallo won't start because it will be unfair on them. I guess it does make sense, because Sociedad will be like genuinely fighting, because they are a good team. They probably will come on and expect a half weakened side. I want Bailly to partner Lindelof at the back. This will be a great time to see what their partnership would be like. But do expect like Fernandes and Rashford to start.
Yeah, of course.
You got to have a bit of quality up there.
Martial or Greenwood?
I don't know, man. If it was Martial or Greenwood, then Greenwood, yeah.
Greenwood. I think it'll be Greenwood, James, Rashford, Bruno, Fred.
No, I feel like Mata will start. Mata came on. You don't just come on for 5 minutes and then sit back on the bench for the next 2 weeks.
True.
I feel like he came on just to get a little bit of movement in those legs, because I feel like he could start on the right.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, because James did play today, so James could be rested, just be benched, and then Mata, Fred. I don't know who else.
Matic will probably start again unless McTominay comes back. I'd expect to see Matic and Fred. Rashford on the left, I'd say. Fernandes in the 10. Greenwood up front. Tellers, obviously.
Williams.
I'd say. I want Bailly to start, but I just feel like my guy will start.
I want Tuanzebe to play as well.
Yes, I had something to say about Tuanzebe. You see, when he comes on, we spoke about it a couple of times. He just looks not ready. He looks erratic. He looks like he's going to make a mistake, and then he does. When Bailly started against Sociedad, in the first 5 minutes, he made a few mistakes. But I'm starting to... It does make a bit of sense when I say the reason Tuanzebe is making these mistakes, scoring own goals and making fouls that lead to goals, is because he's just come on with 5 minutes left into a high-paced game. He has to...
He has to like warm into the game. He needs to grow into the game. You can't. Yeah, you just can't come on and just expect the best. Oh yeah,
it should be a good match and a comfortable win. We won't lose.
But yeah, so yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. You can see the top left corner our subscribe goal, 100 subs by the end of March. I think that is. Yeah, so Next week, Champions League, Europa League will be streaming again. And also Premier League on Sunday next week. We're playing Chelsea away. So look forward to that.